Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name's Kevin. I'm a Christian day trader out of Miami, Florida. And in this channel called Holy Perspective, what we do is try to take a biblical approach to day trading and decision making, and just helping young adults take more actionable steps of faith towards their future and their purpose. And in today's video, I just wanted to talk a little bit about the dark side to day trading, which I feel it's something that's not talked about enough. There's a lot of videos online regarding how much money you can make and just big banger trades and a lot of hype around day trading. I know it's recently become more mainstream. However, I want this video to be a reflection of my experience and really the experience of a lot of day traders. I've been doing this for 8 months now, and I've had some success with it. I mean, I'm net positive overall, so I could say that I'm a profitable trader, and these last 3 months have been really good to me. It took me 2 to 3 months to become profitable, and I learned a lot of hard lessons along the way. So really, the first thing I'll say is, as a Christian day trader, I can't neglect that the Lord has blessed me and giving me His favor. It's uncommon to see success in a short time span, and a lot of day traders, when they come out and say that they're profitable online in a short amount of time, there will be faked payouts, simulated accounts, or they would have made their money through other means. But I can say with all certainty that the Lord has blessed me enough to be able to make more than my monthly salary already. But like I said, not without its hurdles and hiccups along the way. And so that's what I want to talk about today. Let's jump right in. What is the dark side to day trading? I think the hardest thing for me in the last couple months is that you can do everything perfectly. You can have days where you sit on your hands for hours, wait for the ideal setup for your framework to present itself. You wait for confirmation, and you take the one trade. It looks perfect. It aligns with your bias. And then the trade goes against you, hits stop loss. And a lot of times rapidly. Those are the worst days, when not only are you wrong, but you're wrong quick, you know? So you feel like you respected your rules, you waited patiently, you waited for the ideal setup, and you are getting punished for it. And so that can do something to your psychological of saying, like, why am I even following my rules if when I do, you know, it goes against me and I end up losing money. I mentioned this in another video, but day trading is the only profession I know where you can work and you can put effort and it goes against you. You can lose money while working. And so this idea that more effort equals reward doesn't apply to day trading. It's not how much you put out will equal how much you earn. A lot of times it's the less you do will reward you in this game. The more you practice restraint, the more you are rewarded. And as a Christian myself, that really speaks to me, because there's a lot of scripture in Proverbs, for example, that says that a man without restraint is like a city without walls, or it is to our advantage to overlook transgressions, or a scripture that tells me in 1 Timothy that God has given us a spirit not of fear, but of power, love, a sound mind, of restraint, of self-dominion. And so there are times in trading where you will go on losing streaks. It's just part of the probability, the odds. I had 2 weeks where I was just losing this month in February of 2026. And man, that can be something hard to handle. You know, you start going through imposter syndrome, where you start thinking, is this really for me? Did God really call me to this? Or am I really meant to be a day trader? Maybe like everything I've made before was a fluke. But it's those that are resilient in heart and mind and persevere through those circumstances and doubts that will make it through to the other side. It's in those moments where things are not going your way, that you will be tested in, can you still respect your rules? Can you still trade your setup even though it's not hitting right now, because you have the data to back up that that strategy is indeed profitable in the long term. And so many traders, including myself, it's happened to me during these seasons, they will spiral out and start trading discretionary, start trading other assets they're not familiar with, and start trading things outside of their setup. And that can only add to the pain and the loss. This was what happened to me this month. Just being full transparent, like this channel is about my journey. And so what happened is this month, first 2 weeks, my setups, the strategy I trade was not hitting. In fact, I was waiting for those setups, and exactly like I was speaking about earlier, price was going against me. Some days, my setup just wasn't presenting itself. And so I'll just be like, well, I have to take a trade today, even though what I should have done is sat on my hands, and I would take some BS trade and I would lose money. I started oversizing. I had 6 fundeds at the beginning of the month. I started trading Asia session, which I'm not familiar with. I started trading gold more. And I do have a strategy within gold, but I started just trading discretionary, especially this month where metals have been very volatile, especially silver and gold. And this really came to bite me in the butt. I ended up blowing all those 6 funded accounts. I ended up investing anywhere between $2,500 to $3,000 on more evaluations, and just like aggressively trying to pass them. And it was a moment I really wasn't proud of. I usually budget out my evaluation expenses and challenge account expenses per month, but this month it just went out the window. And I kept telling myself, well, I've got a lot of payout money, I can afford to spend a little more. But I know that for me, kind of scheduling out, or how do I put this, buying evals in chunks on different days is better for my mental, and is better for probability's sake, because one day that I'm tempted to reset my account 5 times may just not be the ideal day to trade for me. So if I wait until the next day, odds are that the market conditions will suit me better. But I was not doing that, and so I spiraled out to the point where I just lost everything. A lot of money, a lot of evals, all my fundeds. I had 0 accounts to trade with, and I had to take 3 days off. And man, I had a great conference that I attended out here in Miami, where it was just a refreshment to my spirit. It reminded me the importance of walking by faith and just incorporating God and Jesus in my decision making. And after that, I just started from scratch again. I bought an eval, but I was buying 1 or 2 at the time. And I was just trading them. I passed them, and thank God, thank the Lord. Now I've been able to withdraw over $4,000 in payouts. Some are still on the way, but they've already gotten approved. The Tradeify team is currently on vacation, so I'm kind of waiting on them to get back to just get my payout. So that's been a little annoying, but anyway, it's money that the Lord's blessed me with, so I'll be grateful for it. And so all that to say, I'm still net positive, even though I made some mistakes. By God's grace, I was able to push through it. So that's the question, really, you guys got to ask yourselves. Everyone's good when they're making money and getting payouts, but how will you handle those loss streaks? How will you handle those days where your setup doesn't hit? And I will talk about this. Can you handle the wins? Can you handle making money and stepping away? This, thank the Lord, is not an issue for me. If I take my win, I'm done. I close the charts. I don't even need to log out of my account, because I know that probability says that even though I just took a winner, my next trade can be a loser. So I don't want to risk it. I just want to take my win and be done for the day. One trade, 2 tops. And most days I only take a second trade if my first one was a loser. And here's what I want to talk about. Sizing for your trades matters. And in what capacity do I mean? Most people will talk about this in the sense of risk management, like don't risk more than you're willing to lose. And yes, this is very true. Because if you lose more than you're willing to accept, then that will lead to revenge trading and trying to make that money back. But let me reframe this in a different way. I like to size my trades in a way that I know I'm going to make enough profit that I will be satisfied. Okay, for example, if I go for a $200 trade and I hit TP, I know I'm not going to be satisfied by that. Okay, and again, I'm talking about prop firms. I'm not talking about live accounts. I'm talking about prop firm accounts here. And so I will be tempted to take a second trade, and then that might lead to a loss, and that might lead to even more trading. So I'd rather my first trade be anywhere between $500 to $600. And once I hit my win for the day, I'm done, especially if that's multiplied across 3 different funded accounts or more. And so sizing, you have to take profit into account when sizing in for trades, not just your risk, what you're willing to lose, but how much do you need to make that you will be satisfied and close to charts for the day. And so, yeah, I just wanted to shed some light on the fact that this profession can really take a toll on your mental health at times. I've had days where, you know, I was borderline depressed or anxious. You know, I was dealing with a lot of mental anxiety because I was losing money multiple days in a row, and I'm like, how am I going to get out of this? And so be willing or be ready to face that if you're going to step into this. But at the same time, I will say, with the Lord by your side, all things are possible, and you can be profitable. You know, He gives us favor. He blesses us to think through trading in a way that benefits Him and glorifies Him. And so within that realm, there's possibilities to be profitable so long as we're doing it right, and so long as we're keeping it first, and so long as we have that mental fortitude to overcome those times of trials and loss. And so that's the encouragement I have for you guys. This is a wonderful profession, has a lot of possibilities, but you have to be aware of also the consequences that come and the risks with day trading. So that being said, I do have a free Discord you can join. I'll put the link in the description and in the pinned comment below if you want to be a part of that. And sometimes I share trade ideas. You guys can ask me questions there. It's just to build community. But that's all I have for today, guys. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. I hope y'all have a blessed day, and just stay holy. God bless. Take care. Peace.